Meanwhile, to General Jack Keane, who says this deal is looking more and more like a lousy one to him, General, the obvious thing is how do you police that they're adhering to it? Because I seem to remember something similar with the North Koreans, and they just kicked inspectors out.
Yeah, well, the heart of this thing is if you believe the facts that right now the Iranians have a capability to move to a nuclear weaponization in 2 to 3 months, and we've extended that to a year. And then how do we guarantee that that's not taking place? In other words, that they're not continuing to build capacity to acquire that weapon much faster than a year. That will mean unfettered inspections by the IAEA, and we have had problems with this in the past. Huge differences between the IAEA and Iran on the military dimensions of this program. Never have had any agreement on it. So that's really the heart of the issue, and that is exactly what took place with the North Koreans. They went ahead and built the weapon despite some of the restrictions that was in theory imposed on them. So, and also I think the 10-year clause, the administration's got to explain this a little bit more, what it really means. I'm sure the Iranians are going to tout that as quite a deal for them, because in 10 years they can pretty much do what they want. And I think the administration owes it to us to explain what really happens at the end of 10 years. What have we really accomplished if they're still going to be able to acquire a nuclear weapon at that time?
You know, you're the great military expert, General. I always defer to you on that. As you know, I'm the business nerd here, and I think the compelling part of this deal, at least from everything I hear about it, for the Iranians was that sanctions will be lifted, at least on the part of the Europeans, almost immediately. Ours will be sort of slowly taken off. But that's a hell of a deal for them.
Yeah, well, certainly the only reason the Iranians came to the table is number one, for the sanction removal. They got sanctions removed just to come to the table. I think they knew they would get a pretty good deal from this administration, number two. And number three is whenever they're in negotiations and certainly working towards some kind of framework agreement, the Israelis are not going to conduct any military attack, and that's literally off the table. I still think the president does present.
Why is that off the table? I'm sorry. Why is that off the table? Because we don't know where all the installations are, or we've pistol whipped the Israelis they're afraid to move?
Well, I don't think the Israelis would ever conduct a military attack while negotiations are taking place. That's what I meant. The Iranians love negotiations, drag it out.
But after June 30th, then all bets are off, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I think the president does present a false choice here, and that false choice is this deal or war. And I think the choice has always been a better deal. The fact is, all the secret sites stay in place. 2 of them are going to be remissioned, but they stay in place. Centrifuges stay in place, although reduced. Enriched uranium stays in place, although reduced. And then we have to make certain that this deal, this framework agreement, doesn't grow into a weaponization program by a vigorous and unfettered inspection program. That really remains to be seen, and that's far too much trust. I think what will happen is the Iranians will violate this if they don't already have a secret site right now, Neil, that they're enriching uranium with centrifuges. That has been their pattern in the past. After all, the secret sites that we now know are no longer secret sites. They were discovered by Iranians inside the country who informed outsiders about those sites.
Yeah, you're right about that. And that stockpile of all that stuff is staying in Iran. Thank you, Jeff.